Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aline McNall, and I'll be doing this afternoon's IEEE-USA Washington update. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I'll get to them at the end of the presentation. And looking forward to discussing some issues with you today. So a quick update from Congress. So they're still discussing Hill positions and committee assignments and that sort of thing. We do know the appropriations chairs of the subcommittees, and we know the chairs of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, as well as the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee. These I think I've discussed in previous legislative updates, but I definitely wanted to include them today. Like I said, some subcommittee assignments are still being jostled a little bit, but these are the chairs and the leaders of the various subcommittees, and IEEE looks forward to working with all parties in Congress and both sides of the aisle, both sides of the chambers and both sides of the aisle. In the Senate, we have the Senate Appropriations Chair and Ranking Member, the Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, as well as the Senate Energy and Natural Resource Committee leadership. So I'm going to go through a couple of the different agencies that IEEE-USA does work with. And like I said, feel free to ask any questions, or if you need any follow-up information about any of these items, I recommend reaching out to the different agencies on their website. So in terms of the NSF, obviously we work on both their budget as well as their policy issues. We're pleased to hear about the new AI Institute, which will be focused on speech-language pathology and the needs of children. This was an issue that especially came up during COVID as kids were locked inside, as we all were, and so the NSF AI Institute is looking at pathology issues in children in general, but also as the needs arose during COVID. The NSF director recently met with the Japan Science and Technology Agency president to develop an international partnership to expand the frontiers of STEM fields. And then they also released a report on diversity trends. So for that report, I would recommend looking at their website in terms of the STEM workforce as well as education diversity issues. One thing for IEEE members, both in the US and abroad in India, the NSF did sign a US-India implementation arrangement, which will actually streamline the process of funding projects between our two nations, between the US and between India. So IEEE members in both countries should be able to more easily look at funding opportunities and projects together, especially in the basic research areas of the NSF. Some quick updates from NIST. So NIST conducted a nationwide survey of first responders, which was aimed at improving communications devices, specifically for fire, police, EMT, and the 911 crews. So for that survey, the results, NIST is currently looking through the results of the survey, and will act accordingly in terms of their communication device research. So it's always great that NIST gets input from the communities that it seeks to serve. And in this case, really receiving that input from the emergency responding response community was vital in terms of looking at research opportunities in communications. NIST did publish a new risk management framework, which cultivates trust in AI technology. I did speak about this in a previous legislative update, but did want to highlight it as one of the recent achievements of the agency, while promoting innovation and mitigating risks. So trustworthy AI is, of course, a subject for our AI committee, and NIST has played a very big role in ensuring that AI technology is trustworthy and has low risk in these areas. NIST did join the O-RAN Alliance, which develops hardware and software to promote open wireless technologies and supply chains. So that's just a recent alliance that they have joined. In terms of the Department of Defense, so DoD, as well as the National Telecommunications and Information Sciences, launched a 2023 5G challenge for Open RAN with a goal of future military base modernization. The DoD also established a Defense Management Institute, which would advance management, organization, performance, and improvements, as well as business operations. The Department of Energy. So some recent grant proposals and grant applications opened up. So the DOE is supporting now 33 carbon management projects to achieve a nationwide goal of net net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. This is, of course, a Biden administration priority and one that the DOE has been working on for many years now. Carbon management is, of course, one of the strong suits of the agency, and we look forward to working on management policies with the DOE moving forward. The DOE announced a $47 million funding stream aimed at reducing costs and improving the performance of hydrogen technologies. DOE also in that realm awarded a different $118 million to accelerate biofuel production. And then one thing of note, for those IEEE members in Puerto Rico, DOE and FEMA did release a one-year progress report on joint efforts to modernize Puerto Rico's electric grid with 100% clean energy. Energy policy is, of course, a big issue at IEEE-USA, and our Energy Policy Committee has certainly proposed policy changes and discussed issues with both the Department of Energy and Commerce as it relates to both modernizing Puerto Rico's grid, but also the U.S. grid in other parts of the country. And so this will of course drive some policy changes, but also we're looking forward to looking at some of the recommendations in the report to strengthen Puerto Rico's electric grid. So ends my legislative update. The president's budget request will be released in early March, and so right now we're kind of looking at agency priorities as a government relations department, but certainly happy to answer questions or if you have any comments about any of the things discussed today. Seeing no questions, I would encourage any of you that do have questions to reach out. I will close today's broadcast and look forward to updating you all in 2 weeks. And I hope you have a pleasant 2 weeks. Thank you so much. Have a good day.